Welcome back to the divisional series on the channel, and this is the one we've been looking forward to. In the sixth and final division, we're looking at the Pacific Central. It's the division that our team, the San Francisco Dragons, are in, and let's look at the teams real quick. We have, like I said, the San Francisco Dragons, the St. Louis Gladiators, the Ohio Hogs, and the Denver Flight. All four teams have had very up and down seasons ever since the beginning of this series. The Dragons, until Montana Young took over at coach, were a fledgling 10-6 team every year. The Gladiators, for the longest time, had one of the best offenses in the league, who has now kind of fallen off. The Hogs is the first team to be taken control of by a Discord member, and the Denver Flight are our main divisional rivals who give us the hardest games every season. So first, let's start off with the Denver Flight. The Flight are one of the newest teams in the league, being established in 2005, and their offense is the heavy zone run that is being very influential throughout the whole entire league. About a quarter to almost a half of the teams run this heavy zone run offense, and they run the Tampa 2 defense, which is also ran by the Metal, who made that very influential for the whole league as well. And talking about the Metal, their best player on defense is former All-Pro DB from the Metal, Wes McNeil, who is still the best at the position in the whole league. He is an island on his side of defense, and on offense, they have the amazing running back in Oliver Strauss. He runs this heavy zone run very well. He's really good at the counter plays that come out of it, and he is a very special talent. Now let's look into the Flight a little more deeply. They have never been a bad team since they've came out in 2005, but they've always been stuck at 500. The original years with Miles Carbone, who they picked up in the draft, he is now the backup to the past Dragons starter, Cameron Scalone. Now, in the future, it's rumored that he may leave and just retire, since he is an older quarterback in this league. But for right now, Cameron Scalone is the starter, and he is getting old as well, but he's still in the top 10 at quarterback. They've made some amazing pickups on defense, like underrated former Dragon Sherman Thompson and 5-time number 1 DB Wes McNeil. Offense, they still got Scalone, former MVP Oliver Strauss. A big need is their O-line, especially with the Hogs having a top 15 D-line, and the Dragons have the best D-line in the league. They'll need a better blocking for their quarterback as well to compete with the Dragons. Can they keep up this playoff streak, or the Dragons swallow up the division whole and the Flight have nothing to do with it? Now, let's look at their depth chart, which has some interesting moves I think that would be nice to see. They have a lackluster O-line, and their receiving core is pretty bad. It used to be pretty good with Carl at wide receiver, but they do have Everett Kirkland at tight end, who might be leaving in next year's free agency, but we're not sure just yet. Like I said, they have an aging Oliver Strauss, who still is one of the best zone run running backs probably to ever play, and Cameron Scalone being still one of the best pocket passers to ever play. But their offense, which used to be a strength, is now almost over-relying on their quarterback and their running back. In my opinion, they need to pick up at least a tackle in next year's draft or something to really get a star on this offense, especially due to their two best offensive players being so old and declining every year. Their defense is spectacular. It used to be one of the worst defenses in the league, but they have a linebacker in Tiny Smith. He's only 5'9", and should probably play safety, but at linebacker, he is amazing in this Tampa too, especially when he comes out and just plays absolutely amazing man coverage. They have Sherman Thompson, who was with the Dragons for many years and was traded to here, and he is absolutely amazing. They also have Wes McNeil, who they've picked up as well. Now, they do have lackluster safety play, but that is helped by their amazing linebackers, with Tiny Smith and their middle linebacker as well. And then their D-line is decent, with Merrill, Mary, and some other players. And they do have a young D-tackle, but they still need help on this D-line. But they do give the Dragons a lot of hell 2 times a year, possibly 3 times a year if they mean the playoffs. But now, let's look at the next team. The St. Louis Gladiators, who are one of the oldest teams in the league, established in 1920, one of the original ones. They run the West Coast offense due to their new head coach, Rick Tempest, who is also the new starting quarterback. And the defense, of course, is the Tampa 2. Their best player on offense is J.J. Jackson, who is a young, amazing route runner who can make some amazing plays in traffic. And their best defensive player is Justin Proctor, who is a project safety who's becoming better and better every year with that amazing speed at safety. Now let's look a little further into the Gladiators. They are a former powerhouse in the league. They are one of the oldest teams and sadly in a downward spiral. They lost their star quarterback Ryan Humes, and his replacement is an awful bust. So bad that the former Lightning quarterback and former Seattle legend Rick Tempest has become their new head coach and has forced us away to start at quarterback. With no defense, they have to be perfect on offense every drive, and they just can't be with this bad roster construction. Changes are needed. And talking about the roster construction, let's look at their depth chart. And here we are with their depth chart. They have 2 of the best wide receivers in the league in J.J. Jackson and McMahon on the other side. Now they have a young running back they just drafted with a backup quarterback as well who should be starting, but Dante McCurley has shown that even though he can make good throws, he has enough throw power to get the ball to receivers, and they do have an amazing guard and a decent center. They really have a really bad O-line. Now, they do have one of the few best tight ends in the league, who is a vertical threat in Xavier Zander. But other than him, their offense is pretty lackluster due to them being very inconsistent. Now, they should have used Dante McCurley almost like how the Dragons used Nate Porter last year, but they just can't seem to make it work. But luckily with the West Coast, they can give the ball to the running back. And now we look at their defense, which really hurts their offense with really old DBs who've been in the league for many years. They have a close to retiring free safety. And other than him, he's probably the best free safety in Mays, or best safety I should say, where Proctor is probably their best player due to his speed, and they do have a nice DN and Stank, but other than that, their team is pretty bad, and they're going to need to really upgrade this this defense and really help out their offense to really try to make any type of play against the Dragons, who last year won the championship and who are going to be looking at next. But with the Gladiators, especially with their new coach and new quarterback Rick Tempest, we're going to really need to see how they will do, because Rick Tempest does not like playing on teams with bad defenses. He understands that you need to at least have a solid defense to win. But now, let's look at San Francisco at our user team. And here we are with San Francisco. We user this team. We used to be with the Sacramento Wolves, but now we're with the San Francisco Dragons. That happened in Season 8, and we're going into Season 10 after this video comes out. Here they run the zone run offense, and we run the cover 3 defense. Not many teams use the cover 3 defense, and it's a haphazard cover 3 defense. Our base defense is cover 3, but we mostly use the hybrid system where we blitz McCarthy or blitz Farmer off that edge. Our best player in offense is Mauricio Shepard, who's a star wide receiver. He has bad ball security issues, but our best player in defense could be almost at any position, but we have the best pass rusher in the league in Brandon Dorsey. He is a platinum player with amazing strength, speed, pass rushing skills. He could stop the run. He is a perfect D-end. Now let's get a little more into the Dragons. The Dragons are a newer team in the league, but ever since they came in, they have been a good team, and the fan base expect playoff runs every year. They have always had a franchise quarterback, but due to the fans ran the last coach out of 15 years to run to Sacramento, due to him trading all their aging talents and trying to rebuild without going to their owner first. They were stuck 8-8 and 10-6 for many years. When they would make the playoffs with no running game, it would hurt them severely. So when Montana Young, who got booted from Sacramento, came to San Francisco, he made the Wolves into a special team, but he came in here with no talent and went 3-13 with their new franchise quarterback in Mike Fine. But in the second year, if you follow this last season, they got a star quarterback, Nate Porter, out of a 3-team trade due to his injuries, and he fought through some serious ones during the season to bring the Dragons a championship. Montana Young had a hard time with the Wolves' ownership, so with the Dragons, they gave him power overall, the whole team, to make any decisions he wants, to make the moves he needs and however much money he needs. And now they want to repeat. They will have a hard time due to their injuries at quarterback, so they'll have to put the pressure on their undrafted quarterback, J.C. Riley, who has to impress through practice and in games. But no one knows how he will play since there's so little tape on him. As we look at the team, now quarterbacks are a little inflated due to the fact that if you have a scrambling fast quarterback like J.C. Riley, he's going to look the same exact way as Nate Porter. Now Nate Porter may be able to come in late in the season, but for most of the season, we're going to have to rely on J.C. Riley, who all we know has a really big arm, and he's only 5'6". That's it, and he mostly played running back when he played. We still have Angel Akins, and we have another undrafted player due to Brandon Cusco retiring last second, our backup running back, and we picked up Rich Lawrence as well, who is a undrafted power back who ran a lot in college. So we really don't know what we'll get with him to see if he will stay healthy or not. We still have Mauricio Shepard. We still have Welker. We still have Billy Williams, who is a do-it-all player. And we still have Hunt. It's a very interesting offense who ran basically a Cinderella-type team last year. But can they repeat and show that they deserve to be one of the top teams in the league? And they're coming into the season number 1 due to their win in the championship. Now let's look at the defense. And their defense is stacked. We have Foster at DB, who's one of the best CBs in the league. He lacks the elite agility and he lacks the elite speed, but he's the best coverage corner in the league. We lost Ezekiel Freeman in free agency, and we picked up Ash Garnett from the Discord as our free safety. We're going to rely on Guzman, who is a 20-year vet at strong safety, and we still have another 20-year vet in our second CB as well, who we're going to have to rely on. But the other parts of this defense are fire. We have Nick McCarthy, who can play safety, D-end, linebacker. He's a do-it-all type of player and can make some big plays. We also have like I said earlier, Brandon Dorsey on one side, and we have an aging but still amazing Donnell Childress, who has been one of the best pass rusher specialists in the whole entire league. And don't forget how Montana Young can make these D tackles play way above how good they actually are. But with that, let's look at what the last team in the division in the Ohio Hogs. They run the zone run offense and the 3-4 blitz on defense. They were established in 1924 as one of the first expansion teams in the whole league. Their best player on offense is Richie Hung from the Discord. He's a quarterback with ego issues, but he has a lot of talent behind that arm. He just really needs to get his head right and get the games going. And their best player on defense is probably one of the best strong safeties in the whole league in Lyle Hayward. The problem with him is he's aging and starting to really lose his coverage ability due to loss of speed. But let's get a little more into the Hogs. They are an older team and won a championship in the last decade due to picking up some amazing free agents. But ever since then, they have slowly lost all of their talent, and they've been rebuilding since. They got their new owner and coach, and he's been making big moves with a great young quarterback in Richie Hung, an amazing wide receiver in Boitono, who you're going to see in a sec. Then he's also building a stout defense behind that. They are slowly improving every year, and since the Wolves showing the new blueprint of starting with defense, more and more teams are following that path. There isn't a lot of defensive talent, so when some come up in the free agency and in the draft, they are picked up quick. The Hogs are in the come up, and they have some time to really try to build this stout defense up, especially because a lot of teams in this division, like the Dragons and Flight, do have such a stout defense. Now let's look at their depth chart. So like I said, they have Richie Hung, they have Freeman Chili still, he's one of the oldest wide receivers in the league, and they have Bryson Boitono. He is an elite speed threat talent that you'll see especially in this coming season. He's really come up a little more since the past. But other than him, they really don't have a lot of big talent on offense. They really went out and got the quarterback and wide receiver first, and ever since then they've been working on defense. So let's look at that defense next. They picked up Carl Banks in the draft this past offseason, and even though he hasn't played a single snap, he's already one of the best linebackers in the league. Now, he lacks a lot of speed and zone coverage, but he is an amazing run stuffer, which is going to be nice due to the Flight and the Dragons running the ball so much due to the lack of quarterback. They have a great linebacker in J.C. Jacobs and Anderson for this 3-4 blitz. They have a decent D-line and some special talents they've picked up over the past couple years. And don't even forget Lyle Hayward. This team is on the come up, and they really just need a couple extra pieces on defense, and I think they can really make a run in this tough division. Now let's look at the conclusion of the video. Here at the end of the video, I want to conclude this divisional wrap up just saying that thank you guys for watching these videos. I'm really excited to get season 10 on the way, and I wanted to introduce every single team in the league and see if you guys want to join. If you want to join as a player, put your name in the comments down below, and put your name, your position, your number, and just tell me what type of player you are. Also, you can do it through the Discord, and if you want to help support the channel, leave a like and subscribe. Also, there's a Patreon link in the description down below. And if you do a Patreon, if you do it that way, you will automatically get a player. There's no having to wait in between to see when you'll get one. You will automatically get one. Also, just thank you guys for watching. If you want to also help control a team during their off seasons, go to my Discord and I'll let you choose between some teams. Also, if you want to take full control of a team, name, you know, names of teams and stuff, and help me make their jerseys, go to the Patreon, and that is one of the levels. Now, finally, I'll see you guys next time with the start of Season 10, our biggest season yet. And I'll see you guys then. Peace.